Long before Rome was a dream, a shadow fell over the ancient Near East. A shadow born from the dust of Mesopotamia. This was the Assyrian Empire, the first true superpower in human history. They didn't just conquer, they redefined the meaning of fear. Their name alone made kings tremble and cities surrender without a single arrow being fired. But how did a small city-state become the most brutal war machine the world had ever seen? The secret to their dominance wasn't just courage, it was technology. While others fought with bronze, the Assyrians embraced iron. They were the first to equip entire armies with iron swords, shields, and scale armor. Imagine thousands of soldiers shimmering in the sun, unbreakable and lethal. They turned war into a science, creating the first professional standing army where every man was a full-time killer. Behold the tanks of the ancient world, the Assyrian chariots. Heavier and faster than anything seen before. These chariots carried 4 men, a driver, a shield bearer, and 2 elite archers. When they charged, the earth shook. They didn't just pass through enemy lines, they crushed everything beneath their wheels. It was the blitzkrieg of the Iron Age. Walls were no protection against the Assyrians. They were the masters of siege warfare. They invented massive wooden towers on wheels and iron-tipped battering rams that could tear through stone like paper. Their engineers would tunnel under walls or build giant ramps of earth to bypass defenses. If you hid behind your gates, you were only delaying the inevitable. But their most powerful weapon wasn't iron, it was terror. The Assyrians practiced calculated frightfulness. They wanted the world to know what happened to those who resisted. They recorded their brutalities on stone reliefs for eternity, skinning enemies alive, impaling thousands on stakes outside city gates. They didn't just want your land. They wanted to break your soul so no one would ever dare rebel again. At the heart of this empire stood the king. He was the representative of the god Ashur on earth. Men like Ashurbanipal were not just warriors, they were scholars and hunters. To prove his divine right to rule, the king had to hunt the most dangerous predator in the desert, the lion. A king who could slay a lion with his bare hands or a simple spear was a king no man could defy. Yet in the midst of blood and iron, there was light. Ashurbanipal created the world's first organized library. Over 30,000 clay tablets containing the knowledge of the ancient world, medicine, astronomy, and the legendary Epic of Gilgamesh. The Assyrians were as obsessed with recording history as they were with making it. They knew that empires fall, but knowledge is eternal. Maintaining such a vast empire required a brutal system of deportation. To prevent rebellions, the Assyrians would uproot entire populations, men, women, and children, and move them thousands of miles away to strange lands. Millions were displaced. They created a melting pot of cultures, but at the cost of broken families and lost identities. The empire was a machine that consumed people, but no machine can run forever. By 612 BC, the world had had enough. The Babylonians, Medes, and Scythians united in a desperate alliance. They marched on Nineveh. The city that had terrorized the world for centuries was burned to the ground. The Tigris River overflowed, breaking the walls, and the greatest empire of its time vanished into the sands of Iraq. Today, the palaces of the Assyrians are dust, but their legacy remains. They gave us the professional army, the postal system, and the very concept of an empire. They showed us the heights of human achievement and the depths of human cruelty. The Assyrians were the first to prove that you can conquer the world with iron, but you cannot keep it forever through fear.